Oh, shalom, my friends. Shalom, my enemies. This is your old pal, Rabbi Sol Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And I am thrilled and delighted today because, I get to talk to a talented, creative person who makes music. And is there anything greater than music in this world? His name is Jay Leonhart, and he has been called by so many people one of the outstanding jazz and cabaret bass players of our time. He's played with Buddy Rich and Peggy Lee and Mel Torme and Dick Hyman. He is on the cell. Thank you very much. Duke Ellington, Judy Garland. He is also a singer and songwriter, often autobiographical. He does funny, cute tunes like that, and all about his life. So some of the names that I mentioned, he's actually written songs about, and including, of course, his calling card tune, "It's Impossible to Sing and Play the Bass." But is it? Anyway, between 1975 and 1995, Jay Leonhart was named Most Valuable Bassist in the Recording Industry 3 times by the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences. So without further ado or a don't, let's make sure he's actually physically there. Jay, are you with us?
Yes, Rabbi, I am.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna make you hopefully a little bit louder. I'm not sure how to do that. Let's see if we can get this nice and loud. Oh, that, well, no, for you, 12, because you're even better than Spinal Tap. They had one album. You've had several, and you've done a jazz trio and everything. But welcome, by the way, to the Daverhood.
Thank you very much.
So it is an honor and a pleasure. And let me ask, I want to get this right. How do we pronounce your name? Leonhart.
Exactly like you did. Thank you.
Oh, good. You're very, very welcome. It's spelled Leonhart, so there's a Jewish element in there in the Leon, but you're not Jewish, are you?
Well, I'm not sure because I've had to be, but my parents migrated from Germany in 1850, and there seems to be Jewish names all throughout, Simon from France and everything like that.
Ooh.
But my grandmother on my mother's side was named Simon. Her last name was Simon, but it was French, and I don't know whether that qualifies. I don't know, but my wife's Jewish, so I just take it all.
Now, have you been married to the same woman? If it's so, it's been many, many years.
Yeah, it has, and we are still married, very, very much married, and doing very nicely. And he loves me, she says. She leaves the door.
But is it true that, I mean, considering, have you been married about 40 years or so? How long?
I think it's 48 years.
Oh.
1970, and this would be 49 years.
Mit Mazel, Mitglick on that. And of course, Mit Mazel on your career of lasting even longer than that. This is when you came, you one of those people who came starry-eyed to New York and said, okay, I'm gonna make it here as a musician, yes?
Well, I don't know how starry-eyed I was, but I knew that I was gonna get a lot more work here than I was gonna get in Baltimore. And so I left just looking to be a good bass player in a very active music community, to hopefully find my way. I had no kids, I had no major responsibilities. All I had to do was earn enough money in my early 20s to survive. And so I moved to New York and started working for people and various things. I'd been to school with a pianist named Mike Longo. We went to Oscar Peterson School in Toronto, and we came back to New York. We decided to start a trio, which we did, and we started working.
Now, sorry.
Go ahead, that's all right.
Well, no, I wanted to also roll it back a little bit earlier because people know you for one instrument. But when you first started learning as a kid and stuff, you played almost every possible instrument, no?
No, not every possible instrument. I played piano. I do play guitar. All the string instruments that you pluck or percuss, like a mandolin, banjo, and stuff like that. But we were kids and we were just fooling around. And my brother and I were not bad.
But you could pick up a guitar. I mean, I don't know if you could do an ocarina, but you could do a guitar or steel.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, but my fingers, years of playing bass are not so delicate on the guitar anymore. I need to warm up a little bit, but I can still play
Well, actually, there's a question in there. And I was going to ask this because you're almost 80 years old. When you're 78, 79?
78.
78, mid-mazel. Do you, I mean, I mean, you've got those two fingers out, you play the bass. Do you have to warm up more just to play the bass? Do you feel yourself, you do have, God forbid, arthritis? I mean, what do you do? How do you still play the way you played 30 years ago?
Well, I don't think I play quite the way. I think I play smarter. But although I played last night for 4 hours at a place here in New York called Arturo's, and I seem to have a lot of, stamina. I can play just about as well as I ever did. And I have to do exercise. I try to strengthen my back, my legs, blah, blah, blah. And I practice gently. Oh. And as long as things don't hurt too much, I have a little arthritis in my thumbs, but even one Advil tends to make that go away.
Oh,
or usually none. Some usually none.
Well, I mean, maybe, some would say that the weird position that you have to keep your hand in will cause arthritis, but maybe the opposite with you. Maybe the fact that you use your fingers so much helps.
I think so.
So, how would you describe the way you play the bass? I mean, there aren't if you asked a person to name famous bass players, they couldn't. They go Jaco Pastorius, and then the electric bass, like Paul McCartney and both sides. So, what is your style compared to other bass players?
Well, first of all, I'm playing the acoustic bass, the big stand-up bass.
Mm-hmm. The double bass. Yeah.
That's the one I play primarily now. Since I stopped, since the recording studios in New York sort of dried up in about the year 2000. I mean, there weren't just that many sessions. I'd always played upright bass, so my playing is very much oriented around the great jazz players. My favorite main influence would be Ray Brown. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he's quite the jazz musician that played with everyone and had very successful groups with Oscar Peterson and Ella Fitzgerald and people like that. And he was quite a leader on his own and played beautifully. Just played the bass beautifully. And that was my main influence. And then other people have come along really who have shown me wonderful facets to playing, like Paul Chambers and Ron Carter, who I'm about the same age as, but he was making hit records when I was just puddling around New York. And their style and their approach to music and how they make the bass sound when they play, it's all influenced me. And yet somehow I had to find my own way of doing things because I knew I couldn't be any of them. So I sort of developed my own style too.
Now, part of your style, of course, is writing songs that are tailored to yourself, and they're jazzy, often very amusing. Was that part of, but what is your style when it's not even non-vocal?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Oh, I'm sorry. So, I mean, people know you, because I'm not per se a jazz person, but I love nightclubs and cabaret and comedy. So I gravitate towards that aspect of the songs that you do. But if you were to absent the songwriting of what you do and just talk about the way you play bass, without a song that you've written, with no vocals, how would you describe it?
How would I describe it? I'm very much a jazz rhythm section player, supportive player to soloists, supportive player to singers, and I try to play firmly and in tune and with good solid time and good sense of swing.
Good sense, yeah.
And that's the way I played. And swing is something that has been replaced a little bit by more like the bossa nova and straight eight rock feeling and the samba feelings, which are different than the old-fashioned swing, but it's still a huge place for it.
Now, sorry, but now when, as you said, you came to New York, you knew it would be difficult. Did you ever have to take day jobs when you were starting? Yeah.
I thought about it. I got to the point when I was single. I never had to worry about that because I didn't need much money. But then I got married in 1970, and we had children. And after that, there were times when we were running close to the edge that I would get up in the morning and be all worried and think, oh God, I gotta have to drive a cab or do something to augment my income. But fortunately, I was always able to use my entrepreneurship to commercials, jingles, recordings, and so you had to make yourself good enough to do all those things. So I worked a lot at the bass and became a very good studio musician to the point that I did win that award 3 times.
Well, can I ask also, did you ever play in the Broadway pit or just on cast? What? Sorry.
Often when I was young.
Oh, what shows?
I would sub in a lot of shows. I never really had a hit show, although I did play with Liza Minnelli in 1976 in a show called The Act. I played that. But for the most part, I just subbed for others. And at one point, I was like the first sub on Broadway. Every show on Broadway at the time, if the bass player needed a sub, they'd call me. But that didn't last because you can't possibly juggle that many balls in the air. And my last sub was when I was playing The King and I at Lincoln Center about 20 years ago, and I mastered the part, and I got to the pit. The pit was very crowded, and after the first song, I knocked the music stand over. My music went flying across the floor, and I didn't play for the next 3 songs while I was gathering up my music. And at intermission, they had somebody come in to replace me.
Oh.
So then I was thinking of a song called The King and Not I. And that was the last time I bothered to try to sub on this way. Because it's not easy, and then you have to go in and play. You got to sound like the person you're subbing for. And if you don't like your style, it means you've got to really bend over backwards to keep the job. And I said, no, I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to really start working on my own music, play my own songs, and I'm going to take a chance. So that's when I started doing that.
Wow.
For real.
And you have a bunch of albums out, and you've been, of course, a studio musician on albums as well. But I am always, of course, curious about a couple of things: stories, comic anecdotes, like the one in the orchestra pit. So, were there other disastrous nights? Because if you play, and you constantly play places like Birdland, and where you're going to be? You're going to be at this Mesro place. So, what are some disaster moments that you've had?
Disaster. I'll tell you the biggest disaster
Oh.
I had. I was playing a benefit at Carnegie Hall for Sting, and I was the bass player in the band. And I mean, they had James Taylor and Sting, and I mean, just the major pop players of the day who were all doing this rain bars to benefit.
Uh-huh.
And Pavarotti was in it. I mean, you can't imagine the stars that show up for this thing to raise money for this charity that Sting and his wife
Trudy, is it? Yeah.
support, and it was never advertised. It was always sold out for $400 a seat or something like that in Carnegie Hall. Well, I did the whole sound check work for the week beforehand, and then I thought the show started at 8:00, and it started at 7. So I'm walking merrily down to Carnegie Hall, and Sting and James Taylor and everybody else was standing there waiting for me to show up to play the bass. And the audience is in there, and the show was delayed 45 minutes. And Sting looked at me and gave me a very dirty look. He said, "I'm sorry, nobody told me you started at 8:00." And I haven't spoken to Sting since.
Oh. Have you spoken to Pavarotti since? Was he mad too?
No, he was upstairs. He was just minding his business upstairs. He didn't know about that.
Oh.
But it was very upsetting to me. But I didn't know it started at 7. I thought it started at 8. Everything starts at 8:00 at Carnegie
Right.
Hall.
Yeah.
And I never got the call for 7:00.
Oh, well.
So, anyway, so that was the end of that.
Yeah, no, I'm new. Yeah.
So, I always enjoyed the show. It was a lot of fun to do. It was a rather prestigious show to do. But it stopped, and that was that.
Well,
but,
yeah. Well, we're
I have no more disasters I want to learn. That's my main musical and personal disaster that I experienced in the business.
well, and that personally affected you. But what about stories? I mean, if you're in nightclubs playing, and as you say, sometimes 4 hours at a time, any amazing stories that while you were playing, you saw happening in the audience?
Oh, yeah. I mean, nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, sometimes nightclubs guys have fights, They get some grief, some problem with each other, maybe in business or in organized crime.
Whoa.
And then there was a time in a restaurant in New York. I was playing with somebody, and John Gotti was in the audience with two of his girlfriends. And somebody crossed him, and then the next thing I knew, there was a big thug came in the front door of the restaurant and beat the crap out of this guy. Just beat him mercilessly. We're standing right there looking at it. I'm going, oh my God. You know, so things like that. But if you're in enough crowds long enough, you're going to see stuff happen. I've seen people drop dead out of the audience. The bandstand to congratulate us just go plunk, and they're gone. but not a lot. But it happens if you're in a group of people for long enough, you're going to see stuff.
Now, let me ask who, maybe in audiences or people that you played with, have given you the most, I don't want to say the Jewish word nachas, but where you like, I can't believe I'm so lucky that I'm playing this bass and I'm looking out in the audience and there's so-and-so, or so-and-so's congratulating me afterwards.
Well, I've had my share of those. I don't know if you ever heard of Charles Mingus.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, he was, here I am, a white boy from Baltimore, coming to New York, trying to play jazz. And I'm in a little club, and Mingus walks in, sits down at the table. The owner buys him dinner. And he invites me over to his table, and he starts to talk to me. And he really likes my playing. He really likes the way I play, because I play sort of like he does. I play simply, try to play the right notes, try to create a good sense of time and the rhythm section. And we had a nice talk all night long, and it was one of the most, and I was very young at the time. It was very encouraging. A legend like Charles Mingus should be so kind and so nice and so appreciative. And then one other time I was playing with Tony Bennett, and Duke Ellington sitting in the audience. And Duke Ellington comes up on the stage and plays, Tony invites him up to the stage.
Yeah.
And Duke plays C Jam Blues. Dun, 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 you know, an old famous Ellington piece. And I'm sitting there playing with it. And I take a little solo and he says, yeah. You know, and I like just Ellington just complimented me on something I played.
Well, did that inhibit, I mean, when you had to play with Duke Ellington up there, and not to mention Tony Bennett, do you get stage frighty or nervous or go like, oh crap, you know, look who I'm dealing with, or do you just, you know your stuff so well, then it's like, oh, no, let me just play the song?
There's a lot of just, let me play the song, and of course you're always impressed with yourself playing for people like that, but you do get used to it. You know, I toured with Tony for 2 years, and all these people for a little while in the beginning. Sometimes I would, you know, they paid pretty decently, and I could use the money for the kids. I had two kids who both, by the way, are in Europe right now with Steely Dan. They both play with Steely Dan. And, and I needed money, so I would play with these people. And you get used to it. You get used to the fact that you're a good bassist. They want you to play for them. You can do the job. You make it easy for them. And you, after a while, you say, yes, well, this is what I do.
Well, do you have any Tony Bennett stories since you were on tour with him for like 2 years?
Not a lot.
Okay.
Because I really wasn't close to him at that point. He had a little coterie of friends that we hung out with, Ruby Braff, and clarinetist. And I never sort of made it into the inner circle with him, because I did not with Sinatra either. I never got close to Sinatra, even though I worked with him a bit.
When did you work, well, even if you didn't have any stories about him, on what did you work with Sinatra?
I worked at Carnegie Hall with him in the 80s. We did a 2-week run there in the 80s. And I had talked to him before. He had come into clubs where I'd been playing. He'd been very friendly and very approachable. Came up to me and was real nice. But once I started working for him, you didn't get to talk to him anymore.
Huh.
He had his group of protectors, his little bodyguard group, and it was like he didn't exist. But it was just because he had a way about him. You know, he was getting old at that point, and probably was hungover a lot and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Well, do you have nice stories? Did you play? I mean, one of the people mentioned on your website is also Judy Garland.
Right? No, I didn't know Judy at all. I never.
Oh.
But I just played in the orchestra song ended, the roar was like an explosion where you could feel the sound wave against your body of the roar of the audience when she finished.
Can you explain it? I mean, I know she meant a lot to women and to gay people and stuff. I mean, and she was, I'm sure, great. But what was it? I mean, she's not greater than someone like Peggy Lee or Marilyn May, who
her life. You know, she was very, she was not well. When she said, there was a rainbow inside there, with her feet down on the edge of the stage. No one was just singing all by herself. She could tear your heart out with that. And she did. She was, you know, she was a great actress. Mm. So was her daughter, Liza Minnelli. That was Liza's biggest strength, was really as an actress. And,
well, do you have any Liza stories? Because you were in the pit for the act.
Oh, yeah. I traveled with Liza for a while.
Oh.
And I have stories that I will not tell.
All right.
I mean, nothing salacious or anything like that. But we became very good friends. We hung out a lot. And she was a lovely person. She really was a very kind-hearted woman.
But she's alive. Liza Minnelli's perfectly fine.
Well, she's fine. She's gotten heavy, and her back's killing her now.
Oh.
And she's not performing, but she's not in good health.
Oh, I did not realize, because last we saw of her, she had those roles on Dev, and she's very funny, and she seemed okay, just heavy. I didn't realize that she was battling things now.
Well, yeah, she is heavy. She could barely get up on the stage. I worked with her recently at an incredible fashion show here in New York by somebody, a famous male fashion house. They make shoes, Gabbani, something like that. I'm supposed to know all this, but I don't. Everybody else knows the name of it, but except for me. And they had 200 male models from all over the world creating these incredible clothes and shoes. You can't imagine what these people were wearing. And Liza came up on the stage. She was hired to come up on the stage and sing a little bit, but it was background music. She was singing background music to a fashion show. And Michael Feinstein was standing there with her, and she wanted to be at her left because she felt comfortable. We knew each other so long. So there we are. I'm in the bass on her left. She's sitting in this little chair singing, and Michael's on the right, just guiding her along.
Yeah.
With a small orchestra. And it was fun, but it was sad because it was a background gig for this.
Well, no, I mean, she chose to do it. I mean, Liza, if she wanted to, and she got healthy enough, could easily sell out a Broadway theater again for a month. I mean, she chose to do that gig.
Sure. Mm. Absolutely, yes. Well, she probably needs the money. You know, she probably needs it. She can help Michael. And, I don't know. People make a lot of money off of their finances directly.
Oh.
You know, as you may have heard.
Well, let me ask you, Jay Leonhart. I mean, you mentioned that, thank God, you work constantly, and you've been doing so for many years, but still, you're a husband with 2 kids. What do you do about insurance? Because so many musicians, they're fine, but God forbid they get sick, and there's nothing. Do you have it like from a musicians union at least, or something like that?
Well, we do have a musicians union where if you're working sufficiently, you can be covered in an all right fashion. I was able to, sometimes I did things under the Screen Actors Guild, SAG. I sang on a commercial or something like that, you get covered. Supremely good insurance. But I was usually covered by by the union. And
because you have a persistent cough at the moment, I'm a little worried.
I do. Well, me too. No, I do have a persistent cough. I had a cold. I got it on New Year's Eve, and I'm still having what they call post-nasal drip going down into your lungs, into your what do you call it?
Bronchi and all of that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, bronchi. That's what I'm thinking of. And every once in a while it tickles, and you have to cough it up, or just cough the tickle away. And that's from post-nasal drip, which is not disappearing, but I feel great. I'm in good health. I've got plenty of energy.
Knock wood, lullaby.
And I've got the doctors looking at me. No matter what, here they are now.
Oh, so let me ask a few more questions. Do you have a couple more minutes?
I have all day.
Oh, well, there we go. We're gonna talk to Jay Leonhart all day. We'll maybe daven mincha with him. It'll be fun. But let me ask you also. Now you wrote a song, and this is totally out of the blue, but I'm just checking. You once wrote a song called "They're Coming to Get Me," and you mentioned, do you actually believe in UFOs, or is that just sort of a jokey song?
Well, I wrote it because a friend of mine who was a very good pianist, he did believe in UFOs, and would go out into Central Park to look for them. Not to see if they existed, but he would just want to see one because he knew they were there.
Okay.
And my sense is that, there's probably has to be life out there in the universe. They can't just, no planet was unable to, it took a great series of coincidences for life to pop up on this planet.
True.
But there's several billion, trillion planets out there. And it has to have happened someplace else. Okay. Could they get here? Not likely, unless they were a billion years advanced on us, which they could be, of course.
Right.
They could. And they found a way to zip through wormholes and time and all like that and get here. Do I believe that they're here? No. I have not seen any evidence of that in my 78 years I've been living. Not one shred of evidence.
Well, you don't live in Kansas in a cornfield either, because that's where, for some reason, their coordinates all hit Kansas in Area 51 or something. I don't know. Nebraska.
They like corn. Maybe they run out of corn over there.
That could be. Maybe they have popcorn poppers and nothing to put in them. And they're like, we got to make an Earth run.
What are these things for?
Yeah.
That's the same thing I said back in Moses' day. Moses' wife gave him a birthday present. It was a television set. And he said, that's great. And then he was kind of moping around the house. And his wife said, what's the matter, Moses? He says, there's nothing on.
Oh, my goodness. There's got to be some kind of extension. There's got to be a topper to that joke. I just can't think of maybe he invented the aerial. That's what he did. There was a stick, and he waved it, and it split right in half. And he walked right in between it, and that became a TV aerial. I tried. I'm sorry. It's true. It's true. He should have gotten Netflix at that point.
That's the point. There was no television.
I get that. Yes, But anyway, what? In the days before television, what people would do is they would go out and they would go to the theater and they would go to concerts and they would go to cabarets and nightclubs. The nice thing is, sorry.
I said, they didn't. They really did.
But now people, thank God, can still do that. And if you go out and you want to hear some great jazz music in a club, you can go to a place like Birdland, where Jay Leonhart will be playing on Saturday, February 23rd. You can see him at Birdland. As a matter of fact, even before then, if you want to go down to the Village, this Tuesday night, February 19th, you'll be at a place called Mesro, which you'll be with a trio, yes?
Yeah, it's a great little club. It's absolutely wonderful.
And
it's on 10th Street in the Village, and it is really a great club.
And one of the other things that we also wanted to push and mention, which is kind of an odd combination here, but if you're one of these TV junkies who likes the news or the news opinion channels, I'll call them, you know who Ari Melber is. Now, he has this thing where he hosts kind of a variety show called In Your Face, New York, and you're going to be there. What? Sorry, yeah. I'm plugging your stuff. Let me do it here.
I was hoping you were going to be there.
Oh,
well, it's actually on the internet. It's a very, very good, funny, original internet show. Internet, like variety, satire, political satire show.
Oh.
And it's been running for years now on the internet. And it's constantly running. It's called In Your Face, New York. And they're good shows, and people watch them, and they're getting more and more popular. And Ari is going to be the host of it this time. We've got some very, very good people hosting it. And it'll be very, very interesting to see what he's musical director of it. So
Oh.
I have to decide. You know, I run the band, and I have to decide what I have to write the music, the themes, and a lot of music I write for it.
Oh my God! Well, people can find out what Jay Leonhart is going to write, what music he will have, and what Ari Melber will do. And you can do this on Wednesday, March 13th. I know it's a couple of weeks away, but Wednesday, March 13th, and it's at Merkin Hall on West 67th Street. So it's close to Lincoln Center there. And then you'll be what?
It's a fun show. It's really fun to be in it.
Good. I'm hoping it's fun. I want people to come. I want people to come to your stuff. And if you miss him, by the way, at Birdland on the 23rd of February, he'll be back on March 21st at Birdland. And there's so much that you do that the best way to find out where Jay Leonhart is and what he's up to is jayleonhart.com, Jay, and he spells it. It's spelled like Leonhart. So it's Leonhart, jayleonhart.com. And that gives a whole calendar of what you're doing and where you'll be. And I think, can they buy your albums there too?
Yes, they can. They just have to go to the store. You know how it is. Go to the store.
Go to the store. And you have a book there, don't you? Also.
I have just volume 1 of many volumes to come. I haven't gotten around to writing volume 2 yet. I'm working on it. I am working on it, but it's not complete.
Cool. Well, 1 or 2 more questions. Oh, sorry.
I have to finish because I wrote that song just thinking about my friend that's coming to get me and what it would be like, what he would be expecting to have to happen to him if the ship showed up suddenly and they took him. It was sort of like Encounters of the Third. What was that? Strange. What was that?
Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Yeah.
Close Encounters. I mean, it was sort of really inspired by that. I just put it to music, and it happened to be a pretty melody. And every time I sing it, the audience sort of falls into the trap, and they start thinking, "Yeah," and I start falling into the trap too. Because we do it very wistfully, and if you have, it's on my latest album. Actually, that's a nice one.
Oh, excellent. What's the name of your latest album?
Don't You Wish.
All right, I wish. Tell me what the name of your latest album is.
Don't you wish?
I am wishing. That's why I'm asking you, goddammit. What is the name of your latest? I'm just kidding, of course.
Don't you wish?
Don't You Wish? From Jay Leonhart. What I wish to hear from you, though, Jay, is what, if I may call you Jay, what are 1 or 2 favorite songs of your own that you have composed over the years?
Well, I have to say that that Coming to Get Me, which we were just talking about, is one of my favorites. Because it always works. When the audience always gets into it, the players always seem to really respond to it in a beautiful way. And it's a good moment. And then a song that has been, Tony Bennett told me in one of our conversations someplace that this was my song, me and Lenny, about being on an airplane with Leonard Bernstein. He said, "That's your San Francisco, Jay. You got to do it every time you play." And I said, "My San Francisco, yeah, that's fine." But nonetheless, he's right. It's a song that has gotten me some reputation around the world, and I do it all the time. And I've got a lot of songs that I really like, though. I mean, I can't. There's about 20 of them that I've really put in the top tier that I really like to perform and audiences relate to.
Now, if you don't mind my asking, though, not to give away because I don't have the song in front of me to play, is there a story with Leonard Bernstein? Is there, what is the song? I mean, so you sat next to him on an airplane, and?
How do you know that much? How do you know?
You just told me. What you just said. That's why, yeah.
Oh, yes. All right. Yeah, I sat next to him on an airplane, and we just talked. And I had a great time. We're going from New York to California. We had to both be in first class. I mean, the bass player riding in first class was a rarity, but there I was. Because I was working for some people out there who insisted. And we had a nice time talking, and he was exhausted from Pennsylvania. He had his show about Pennsylvania something, or I forget what it was, Pennsylvania. Not 6,500, that's the old song. But I forget what it was, but it was at the White House, and he failed, and he was exhausted from it.
Okay.
And I believe he was getting sick at the time. I didn't realize that, but and yet we had a lovely conversation and talked all the way across the country. And he was just brilliant. It was such fun, and talked about everything. And then we got off the plane, and that was the last I saw him. So I talked about all this, and then I complained at the end that he never writes. And I do it in a hopefully humorous way.
Yeah.
And that was the whole point of the song. It's a real encounter with Leonard Bernstein for 6 hours on a plane.
Oh, wow.
And then nothing else. Although I do have a poster from him, which he heard the song and loved it. And so I had that.
Oh, that's so it does have kind of a postscript, a happy ending on that.
Yes,
wow.
Yes, it does. Except that he died too young, but he really did. He shouldn't have died that early. But he was quite the guy. Quite the guy.
Well, you, Jay Leonhart, are quite the guy as well, and it has been a joy and an honor talking with you about your music, about your life, about your good health, thank God, and about being able to see you in so many places so often. For example, at Mesro on this Tuesday. Sorry about that.
No, that's good. I love it when you recap.
Well, this is what we do. You know, when you're Jewish, you read the Torah, and as soon as you finish the Torah, you start over again. So this is what I do on my show. I read all the pushes, I plug everything, and then I plug again. So Mesro on Tuesday, Birdland next Saturday, the 23rd. Then on March 13th, Ari Melber's In Your Face, New York at Merkin Concert Hall. And then Thursday, the 21st at Birdland. Plus, we do a couple of gigs in New Jersey in between. Find out about them at jayleonhart.com, JLEONHART.com. Last question for you, Jay. So I've asked you what your favorite songs of your own are. What is your all-time favorite song by somebody else?
Boy, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I narrow it down to Just the Way You Look Tonight.
Oh.
The sentiment that grabs me. Jam Blues upwards, utter simplicity and beauty. It's such a simple song, and just the absolute persona, the indication of Ellington's genius and swing. A couple of the Bergman songs, just It Might As Well Be Spring. No. Their spring song, I forget what the name of it is. It's not It Might As Well Be Spring, and it's not Spring Can Hang You Up the Most.
And it's not Springtime for Hitler. I know that one, but
Spring. It's a spring, and I can't remember the title of it. I love that song, and there's an awful lot of songs that I truly love. And there's so much of Harold Arlen's songbook is just gorgeous.
well,
and we go on and on and on. I could name 200 songs if I sat and wrote a list that I just love. So just for the way they're written and the way what they express in the lyric and their humanity. Dave Frischberg is a fan favorite of mine because his lyrics are so good, so good. He's just such a wonderful songwriter to me. And the list goes on. And I'm leaving out, of course, Berlin and all these others.
And let's not forget Shlomo Carlebach. You're leaving him out.
Shlomo Carlebach. I've recorded with him.
No joke. He used to play the Village Gate back in the 1960s. So you may very well have actually played with Shlomo. So.
I think I did because I think I made a record with him at some point early on.
Wow.
A lot of people. I was just running back from studio to studio all day long, and that's tedious. It's musically kind of deafening because you end up playing everybody else's music song that stinks.
Wow.
And you have to play it.
Well, are you on any rock albums? I'm just curious about that. Did you ever do any acid rock or electric jazz or that kind of thing?
I played a little bit on
Buzzy.
Some guy used to bite the head off birds.
Wait. You were on an Ozzy Osbourne album?
Yeah.
When the hell were you on an Ozzy Osbourne album?
I did some backgrounds for him, and just smattering some people who, the Supremes, the woman who played for did the Supremes.
Diana Ross?
Diana Ross. I played on some first time I did some Aretha Franklin things.
Whoa.
James Brown, I did some work for him.
whoa! I had no idea. This is not on your website. I had no idea about these. Tell me a James Brown story.
Well, let me see. There are not a lot of good stories. I met him because he was playing the Tonight Show around 1973, and his bass player didn't make it. And they looked around for a bass player who could play that funky style, who could read, who could walk in and do it the first time through without any problem. And so I was a good studio musician, so he called me and asked me to do it. So I played with him there, and then we became friends. So I did the occasional session with him, or date with him, and never got credit for it. It was always their other bass player that mentioned. They said, "I'm sorry, we can't put you on the credits. You just have to do an overdub."
But was he intact back then? Was it before the drugs? Was he still almost a normal human being, or was he already on a death? Yeah.
He was actually a very nice human being. I liked him very much. And another story is I had on my first album came out called Salamander Pie, which came out in 1984. It was one of the very first jazz CDs, and for a minute it was way high on the Cashbox, which used to be a magazine, a music magazine, on their list of best-selling CDs. And I looked at the one time and I was like number 7, and Miles Davis was number 10. And I said, "Oh my God!" But Miles Davis had just come out, and so he hadn't quite gone to the roof, but he knocked me right off the list. So I met him up in Saratoga, New York, at a concert up there. And I looked at him and I said, "Miles, you just knocked me off of Cashbox's top 10. And I expected him to go, "Yes." He said, "Man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that to you. It was just a sweetness and sincerity."
Oh, that's, yeah. No, I'm happy to hear these stories, because it isn't just that we want to hear bad stories about our idols or these great celebrity people. I love hearing when they're lovely or they're nice or friendly or funny, you know?
Well, I'm not much on ugly stories about people. You know, I tend to forget them. I do. I just tend to forget about it.
Great.
And, because that is not helpful. That help me. Anyway, listen, you know what? I've got to go pick up my grandson.
Oh, Mazel. Mazel.
Yes, he is. Yes, he's 10 years old. He's up at a friend's house, and I've got to go pick him up this morning.
Well, this is perfect timing. And you're, at times, I mean, picked up a bass player, too, so it kind of fits.
That's right.
A little joke there.
All my life.
So we're just thrilled that you've taken this time out of your life to be in the neighborhood with us. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking with Jay Leonhart. Find out more about him at JayLeonhart.com, JayLeonhart.com. It just remains for me to say thank you so much for being with us in the neighborhood. Much more music, much good health, and shalom to you.
Shalom to you, too. Thank you very, very much.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Jay Leonhart, ladies and gentlemen, here